Okay, so in order to make the shoulder muscles, the deltoids, let's take a look first and check how it is. So basically the shoulder muscle has three sections, as we can see it here in this anatomy for sculptors page. Um, the first will be the anterior portion, which is this one right here. Okay, it originates on the clavicle into that first section that we said and some other time. So let me show you here. So here we have this section. Remember that those three sections for the clavicle that we said, and then from this part here we're gonna have this first anterior portion of the deltoids. Okay, and then we're gonna have the lateral portion of deltoids, and it will be like this one right here. This is kind of a top view, and yeah, so the lateral portion of deltoid is gonna be let me see, yeah, this section right here. So we are still able to know this lateral section even from the back view, like in this case, or from the front view, like so. Yeah, okay, I got some other reference here, and let's analyze better the shoulder muscles, the deltoids. Here you can this is a page from Michael Hampton book, and you can notice that we have kind of this tear here for doing the shape of deltoids. And remember the region for the anterior part of the anterior deltoid, and then it goes over here, the part in the clavicle that we said, the lateral one that will be above all the other two, on the top of the two there, and we'll get the acromions region, and also the, let me do it in red. This part here will be the posterior deltoid, which goes from the back and comes to the front view. So here we have some reference from Helmut Strobel that we said. Let me write his name, so this way you can find some reference. He's a very nice guy to study anatomy, because he's the most shredded guy in the story, I think. So yeah, here you can easily find the three heads of deltoid. Here we have the lateral, the lateral, and the front, the anterior head. Okay, and this will be in red, will be the fibers of pectoralis major, the clavicle part, here the external part, external with S, not E, and here the abdominal part, it goes through the top, abdominal portion. Okay, once again about the deltoids, here the anterior part, the lateral, and just a little part of the posterior one. In this case we can better see the divisions. Here we have the posterior, and then we have the lateral, and then we have the anterior deltoid. Okay, the same here, posterior, lateral, and there in the front, the posterior, lateral, and front, anterior. So here we can see the separation, nice separation, lateral, posterior, and front, anterior, sorry. anterior, lateral, and posterior. Okay, so this way we can see from the top view. Here's the clavicle, and here's the shoulder blades with the acromion process. You know, the acromion process will create this nice silhouette. You know, the separation from the trapezius muscle. Let me show you. It will breaks up the continuity of trapezius muscle, which will be here in this place, and the deltoids. Let me do it in red from the deltoid. So this will be the place for the acromion. Okay, so it's going there and breaks up and then goes over there. This is because here we're gonna have the head of humerus, so this region will be mainly formed by the bone structure, and then to this region will be more the muscles, fibers, and the muscle volume. So because of this, we can have, this image is clear to see. We have this flat region for the silhouette, then the acromion, and from here we're gonna have the start of more from here, I guess, the starting of the trapezius muscle. Okay, so this part will be more volume and this part will be less volume. Okay, one thing that is also nice to understand about the deltoids is, okay, I forgot to say about the posterior head. It will start on the spine of scapula, right? And it goes under the lateral head, and we can clearly see one separation on the reference, but the lateral will be even more separated, as you can check it here. This will be the lateral, right? The posterior and the anterior are more a clear separation, but for the lateral we're gonna have kind of other separations in the middle between, and this way it can look more like more separations, but it's not. It's just like some I don't know how to say that in English, is some separations for the fibers and they interlace each other, and for the anterior part is more straight. But one thing that is nice to look for when you're coming to deltoids is to have this nice separation for the biceps. You know, the anterior head will be most of the time above the biceps, and we're gonna have this break for the drawing, like here and here. You know, we're gonna have like this break for the anterior part of the deltoids, and then the lateral part of deltoids. The lateral part always gonna have this nice corner, you know, this corner, and here will be the biceps. All right, so you can see it at all the reference. Here is not showing really, but it would be kind of finishing here, and from here we're gonna have the biceps, right? So it will fills the same width of biceps, and then we're gonna have the lateral. So we should have this break on the form, right? And another thing that is quite important, that it's a very common mistake, is to make the deltoids too much for the outside of the body, like starting the deltoids from here and not inside. You have to remember this place for the clavicle. So always it will create like this shape for the anterior head and the lateral head. Don't forget this break that I said. I'm gonna make it in blue. Okay, and from this we can have a nice separation into this part and also into this region, separating the both heads, like this one and the lateral one over here. Okay, and always the anterior part will goes inside the pectoralis. Because of this, I mentioned that shape of pentagon shape. Okay, because of this I've made this way. Look, a pentagon shape, right? The same we did into this and this, like until here, but it will starts before the deltoids over here, right? Yeah, so that's it. And the posterior part, it will origins in the spinal scapula, and yeah, it goes over there. Okay, these are the kind of fibers that I've said. The anterior head are more straight and parallel, and the lateral one, it will cross each other and do this pattern. And the same will be for the posterior head, more straight and parallel fibers. Okay, so now let's do it in 3D. Alright guys, so let's start the deltoids here in 3D. Let's start by doing the posterior deltoid. So I'm gonna get from here. Actually, the spine could be just a little bit less big. Something more like that would be more natural, I guess. Yeah. Okay, and now let's extrude that. So we can actually start from, it's almost all the spine, but not all. You're gonna get some part like this region, and gonna leave a portion for the lateral. Okay, here I'm gonna try to make this way. No, what is supposed to be this thing border? Yeah, just the same, I guess. Okay, now hit accept and click with the transpose, and then let me see. Let's invert. Doing some inflate, so it's gonna be easier to work. I think we're gonna need to dynamesh this, so let's dynamesh it. Also painted. Oops, sorry. Okay, so its insertion gonna be exactly into the deltoid tuberosity, which is like in the middle, almost in the middle of the humerus. All right. So now let's go here and work on the shape. Just like that. Okay. After we can change all the volume, let's do first the other two portions. So I'm gonna duplicate this one, and I'm gonna grab it to the side, so this way is easier, so I can make the lateral portion. But actually, before we go over the lateral portion, I'm gonna do the anterior portion, because they gonna be under the lateral, and the lateral will comes above everything on the connection there. So let me just position it. Look how it's how it's connected. Sorry guys. At almost in the middle part of the humerus bone. And also notice here that I'm positioning the anterior head of deltoid just in that position we said, just after the infraclavicular fossa, that empty space between the deltoids and the beginning of pectoralis major. So here I think I need to make a little bit further this fossa, and this way the deltoid is gonna take, you know, this first portion of the clavicle, just like this. Here I'm working with some move, and you guys remember that this portion here will almost all take the format of humerus, and then this other part here is gonna bulge more because of the muscle volume. Alright, so now let's duplicate once again, and we can make the lateral portion. Let me check that. Just like this. Yeah, so this way we can position it above everything, all the others head. Good. And then its origin we can position it just as we see here in this image from Stefan Rogers' back. Okay. So we leave the acromion. I think this acromion is too big now. Maybe just a little bit less. Like this. Should be enough. You know, so this way we're gonna have a nice lateral portion, origin and insertion. Adjust here the volumes, so this lateral portion can be above everything, but almost also make part from of deltoid, you know. Okay, good. I think this is quite enough. And after we're gonna start by doing the biceps, so we're gonna have to adjust some volumes over here. But yeah, let's leave it like that for this time, and after we can work more. Okay. Yeah, and now let's start by doing the obliquos and rectus abdominis, and also doing the lats and all this back part, the back muscles of torso. Okay.